Alright guys, so today I am going to show you guys how to find the equation of a line just by using 2 points, okay? So let's use this one for example. So they'll give us, let's say, I don't know, we'll just say whatever. We'll say 0, -1, and what else? I guess we'll try 2 and 3, okay? So these are our 2 points that they give us, all right? From here, the first thing we want to do is look for our slope, okay? So our main goal, I guess you could say, is to fill out this equation, y equals mx plus b, okay? So we're looking for the m and for this b right here. Once we found out what they are, we've successfully found the equation of our line. So all we have to do is this. So let's start with finding the slope, because we do actually have an equation for that. So for our slope, if you guys recall, our slope equation is m is equal to y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Alright? And from there, we just got to pretty much figure out which ones are x1, our y1, and our x2, y2, okay? So since this is my first point, I'm just going to call this x1, and I'm going to call this y1, right, x and y. And I'm going to call this my x2, and this is going to be my y2. Okay, so I've already named them all, so I could just plug them into my equation. So it's going to be y2, so 3 minus y1, which is a -1, right? So then -1 all over x2 minus x1. So we have x2 minus 0. Okay? And just be careful when you guys have these double negatives. A lot of times people will drop the negative in front of this number right here because they already see a negative sign there. So don't get confused on that. Make sure you include the negative from the equation and also from your y1. So here we have a double negative, so this ends up being 3 plus 1, because a negative times a negative will make a positive, right? All over, well, what's 2 minus 0? It's just 2. So then what's 3 plus 1? It's just going to give us 4 over 2, and this can reduce to just 2, okay? So that is our slope. This is the m, so boom, we already have one piece done, so we can actually plug this into that equation. So let's go ahead and update our equation now. So we have now y is equal to, I'll change it back just so we kind of know, 2x plus b. Now notice that the 2 is the only thing that's red, right? Because the slope is only the part in front of your x. A lot of times people will say that this whole thing is your x, but it's not. It's just the 2, the thing in front of your x value, okay? Or your x variable, alright? So now let's try to find our b, because that's the only thing that's missing, right? So we'll go to a blue for this one. So when we want to find b, we're actually going to use this new equation that we have, okay? If you notice, we now have m, and we just need our b's, so we can actually use an x and a y from either one of these 2 points to find our b. So I'll show you what I mean. So we'll write y is equal to 2x plus b. Now, up here you're going to choose between these two. It's up to you whichever one you want to use, but it's really up to you. So you can choose 0, -1, or you can choose 2 and 3. Either way, it will give you the same exact equation, okay? So, I'm going to choose this one just because it has a 0 in it, and usually that makes things easier, so I will do that. So the y for this point is going to be -1, so I'm going to plug that in. -1 is equal to 2 times x, which is our 0, so 2 times 0 plus b. So notice all I did, well, whatever. All I did was take the values from this point and plug them in there, right? So this 2 times 0 was just going to give us 0, right? We still have -1 on this side. Then we have um, 0 plus b, which just gives us b anyways. And we could reorganize this so that it says b is equal to -1, right? So now we actually know our b as well. So remember from what I said at the beginning, once we find m and b, we're done, right? And that's exactly right. So we can take this part now, and we could take that and put it right there too, okay? So now let's write our equation of the line. So we have y is equal to 2, sorry, I just want to color code this, x plus, or in this case actually, if we take a look at what our b is -1, right? So we can say -1. And that's it. This is the equation of our line. And there's really not much more to it, okay? So this is your slope. This is your y-intercept, so you have your equation of the line, okay? And if we were to graph this, you would use your y-intercept and your slope to find any other points when you want to graph by hand, okay?